Welcome to Speech Talk Live, episode number 24. Today's November 13th, 2015. My name is Jay Oza, and I'm the host of this show. And today we have Julie Finkelstein and Sajid Zakaria. And what we try to do in this show is this is about speaking. So we talk about speaking. And the purpose of this is like 5 things I always point out. One is to learn, because speaking is constantly a learning thing. Nobody's a perfect speaker all the time. Second is teach. Many of us have taken courses, and some of us are mentors. Julie and myself actually mentor the Coursera's Introduction to Public Speaking course, and Sajid is close to completing it, so then he can become a mentor too. The third thing is we also support each other here. This is the place where you practice. This is the place we don't try to, judge people. We will give you good feedback, but this is not trying to make you feel bad about it, because speaking is fearful. And what I tell people is raise the stakes when you're speaking here, because if you can do it here, you can do it anywhere, and that's up to you. So, and the fourth thing is, practice. Part of it is, if you want to try something, this is the place to do it. If you have something humorous to say that you want to try it. If you have a story, try it here. If you have some technical concept that you want to explain to people, try it here, because this is at least you're going to get a chance to view yourself later on and even get some feedback if you're interested. And one more other thing is share. We share speeches. Julie has shared her speech that she worked on a while back, and Sajid was very kind to let us use his speech to point out to people how you receive feedback and also get feedback, and he was very helpful in doing that, and a lot of people have found that to be very useful. It's on the Coursera discussion forum that I have pinned, that a lot of people have now looked at it. So Sajid, thanks a lot for allowing us to use that. So I'm based out of Hazlet, New Jersey, which is about 50 miles from New York City. And today, as I mentioned, one of the things we do is share speeches. And what I've done today is I've recorded 3 speeches. The first one is, and these are like, we want to have a discussion around this. So rather than just me telling you telling you live, I thought it'd be useful as a way to practice to make recording. So I made 3 recordings. One of them is on tips that I'm giving on how to overcome fear of speaking in front of a camera, like all of us are right now. And believe me, people have fear. They just don't sound natural, because when it's just you and the camera, you got to really start acting like there are people that you're talking to. People have difficulty doing that. Like if you watch somebody speaking to you and then you see them on a camera or watch their video, they don't look the same. And my take always is that you should sound and look the same, whether you are speaking to a person or whether you are making a video. Okay? The second video is something that I'm calling a speaking athlete. And what this is all about is that unless you have a super talent, whether you're in artistic, athletic, acting, whatever, medicine, if you're a doctor, lawyer, whatever, most of us are going to have to be good at speaking, because at the end, that's how most of us will ever make money. To put it bluntly, there are really 2 kinds of professions: those who get paid for speaking and those who don't. Okay, if you break it down to the bare bones. So that means that if you want to become a world-class speaker and you want to succeed, you're going to have to act. You're going to basically adopt a lot of the techniques and principles that an athlete uses to become a world-class athlete, to become a world-class speaker. So that's the second video, and I'd certainly like Julie and Sajid's thoughts on that. And then the third one is like more methodical. Okay, so now you're saying I want to become a world-class athlete or speaking athlete. How do I do it? So I've come up with a simple method that I've taken ideas from a lot of different places, like advertising, marketing, and I'm calling this, for now, lean speech method. And I can, name can change later on, but right now we'll see how that goes. And that's what I'm doing. Part of my purpose here is to get feedback. And, I've recorded this. Now it's for me, in this show today, is to get feedback from Julie and Sajid and answer their questions. And also at the same time, I'll be asking them specific feedback that I'm looking for. So in a way, you're going to get an idea on how, when you do something, how to interact with people if you want to get better, if you want to improve something, how to conduct a session where you're asking for their feedback, giving them the freedom to be free to make comments so they don't feel like, oh my God, I don't want to be too honest. So it's up to me to get them to be honest with me. Okay, so that's part of what I'm hoping that you can learn by watching this. So at this point, I'll have Julie and Sajid give their quick introduction, and then we'll go into our 3-minute speech segment. Julie?
Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Sajid. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I am now living in Stanford. I started this class when I was in Chicago. And right now, I have done one version of the persuasive speech. And I submitted it, but I want to improve it. And Jay has given me lots of hints. So I've been working on it, and hopefully soon I'll be able to deliver it here. I sponsor a Saturday morning read for your success class, and we're reading the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the idea is that speaking is a fundamental skill. Some of us needs a little bit of warm-up. So the reading helps us to kind of get warmed up, give us a topic to speak with, and then we have a discussion. So you're welcome to join us. It's Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Thanks, Jay.
Hello, everyone. This is Sajid. I am actually a software engineer from India. I'm a software engineer, as I said, and I'm doing that for my living now. I am here because I would like to improve my speaking abilities. So I had registered for the Coursera course, and I found this Speech Talk Live while I was doing the course, and I am participating in this because this gives me an opportunity to speak to people and speak. If I can say virtually, speaking to people who are from other parts of the world, which gives me an opportunity to understand different culture and a different way to communicate better with people. So I am here basically to learn speaking, and wish you all good luck in improving your speaking capabilities.
Okay, Sajid, thanks a lot. Okay, so at this point, this is what we do is we call it the freestyle, taking it from swimming. This is the freestyle part of the program, where each of us gets close to 3 minutes, and we're not keeping time here, where we can talk about anything as a way to practice on how you would give a quick 3-minute speech. So I'll go first, and I want to talk about something that happened to me just this week. Well, actually, it's been going on for about a month, but I'll share with you. So about a month ago, and I think I might have mentioned it, I had to attend a wedding in West Palm Beach, Florida. And I needed to get these 2 pants. I like these khaki pants that I wear. That's what I tend to wear. And so I went to the store and I purchased this 2 pants. And I didn't even try it because my waist size is, I'll admit it, it's 38-30. That's the size that I wear. So I went home, and oh, and there was another thing. So the pants that I had, the reason I had to purchase these 2 pants is that the cuffs, these are preset, so you can't alter them. They get scruffed up, so and then it doesn't look good. You can't wear it to work because people say, like, look at this guy, he's wearing clothes that are like so messed up. So I said, I need a pants that can't happen. So I tried the one without the cuffs. I bought that. So I brought it home and I tried it, and it was really uncomfortable. It just didn't fit right. Now, part of it is that, okay, I've gained some weight. Okay, but that's, I'll just admit it right now. So I said, no, this is not going to work. I can't take it to the wedding. So when I got back, I brought it back to the store, and the guy said, oh, what you bought were flat front, and because it's flat front, well, I think you want to be polite. You have to be somewhat slim, and I'm not. So he said, what's going to work is pleated pants. You got to get pleated, so you'll get more room by the hips and the groin area, so it'll be more comfortable. I said, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he said, the one you're wearing is pleated. That's why that's fitting better. So I took those two pants, took it home. I tried it, and again, it just doesn't fit. It's tight. And now it's like, oh, what do I do now? Do I bring it back? And that's when I had to really was agonizing over this decision now, because I thought okay, it's tight, but I don't want to get to the next size. That's like admitting defeat that I can't lose weight. I said I could easily lose a couple, 10 pounds, then it'll fit fine. But what if I don't? Then I can't wear those two pants, and I need those two pants because I don't have any more pants that I can wear. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I'm gonna. If these pants don't fit, would you be able to use them while I'm losing weight? And if I can't, then at least you'll be able to use it. He said, no, I can't, because my size is just not even close, and I can't even use a belt to tighten it that much. So now I'm like, okay, I'll just have to lose the weight. But then the problem is I need those two pants. So I'm agonizing over this decision. And finally I decided, you know what? If I can't wear it right now, I have to return it and bite the bullet and get the next size up. So that's what I did on Tuesday. I went to this store and I returned those two pants, and I was so nervous because I felt so defeated, oh my God, I can't wear this. I have to now admit the defeat that I'm moving up one size. And I don't know if you ever felt that. It's really uncomfortable to do that. You felt so defeated, oh my God, I'm moving up a size. And it's like getting old. You can't do anything about it. And I felt oh my God, so I finally gave the two pants. And the guy was I said, I was happy that finally I'll get two pants that I can wear. But at the same time, I was sad that I'd lost the battle of the bulge, as they say. And the guy was really nice. He realized that I was not taking this too well. He said, you're doing the right thing. Because if you can't get the pants that are comfortable, what's the point of it? So I felt good. So the lesson of this is important, actually, that if we all buy things. We're all impulse buyers. And I think Sajith even talked about it in his framing effect speech, that if you purchase anything, we always tend to purchase out of impulse. But if you can't get the immediate return or the fast payback, then you're wasting money. So when it comes to clothes, if they don't fit right away that you can use, don't buy it, even though it could be on sale, it could be cheap, it could be anything. And on internet, this has become so easy now that we tend to buy just about anything so quickly. And a lot of things we just don't use, and it turns into waste, and we just end up wasting a lot of money. So before you buy anything, allocate the time before you spend the money, the energy you want to spend within that period, immediately after you purchase. If you can't do that, then don't buy it, because most likely you're going to waste your money. Okay, Julie, you're next.
Thanks, Jay. Indeed, when I moved, we got rid of about 2/3 of our stuff, and we still have too much. So I am continuing my sojourn, my journey on doing persuasive speech, because I am going to do this until I get it done. So basically, today I'd like to start with success is at the corner of when you practice your communication class, in this communication class, and you face your fears. So participation in this class leads to success and happiness. The first thing is we all speak, and Jay will actually focus a lot on this class, is communication is the fabric of our lives, right? You cannot have a relationship with your family if you don't communicate with them. You cannot get your job done without communication. So it really is at the intersection of everything we've done. You cannot live your life without communication. And public speaking is a core part of communication in the sense that when we talk about public speaking, Jay always likes to say, there's no public speaking, there is only speaking, in the sense that when you communicate, you're speaking to someone outside of yourself. So it doesn't matter whether your audience is one person or 100,000 people. Of course, there are skill sets involved, but basically communication is crucial for our lives. And yet, fear of communication is a very fundamental aspect of our psychology. There is nothing, we live our lives in fear in many ways. So the good news is when you face one fear, it actually loosens the grip of fear on everything in our lives. So it's kind of like fear is like a pane of glass. When you shatter one area, it ripples in through the whole glass. Practicing is the only way to improve your skills, and when you get better improve, you will feel less fearful. Furthermore, a lot of the skills involved in communication is an antidote to fear in many aspects of your life. For example, if you're anxious, many of you cannot breathe. So frequently we talk about just learning to breathe helps us in life and in speech. The second thing is body posture. There's a woman called Caddy. She did one called power pose. When you take thank you, Jay. When you take a power pose, you just feel more confident right away. So and you can do a power pose before you go in a job interview, before you make a speech. So many of those skills are generalizable, can be generalized into other aspects of your life. So basically, for example, I know this one woman who could not even breathe, and she was graduating from school, and she's part of our program. She could not breathe, so she could not go on a job interview. So hopefully, if she stays with this class, if she participates with many of us, then she will feel more confident. And these kind of skills, when you participate with other people, it also leads to better social skills, your ability to interact with other people, your confidence in seeing the world from the bigger perspective, because you'll be meeting people you don't know, leadership skills, and finally just persistence. Not giving up is a huge life skill. So please join the class and participate and talk to us. And I will end up this comment. I will say again that when you participate in this public speaking class, you can become less fearful. You can be more engaged with all spheres of your life, whether it be your personal relationships or your professional relationship. To recap it, I would just like to say what Jay always says: there's no public speaking, there is only speaking. And so come and speak with us and learn to listen at the same time. Thank you.
All right, Julie, that was excellent. Just two comments before I turn it over to Sajith. Yeah, the one that Julie mentioned about the power pose, that was a famous a TED Talk that was given by Amy Cuddy. So if anybody's watching it, go to TED Talk and do a search under CUDDY, and I'll actually include that. And the other TED Talk that I'll refer to is something that I just watched recently. I think the woman's last name was Boyder. She's written a book called Gravitas, and she talks about breathing, that breathing is a very important part of speaking that we don't take into consideration. That you have to, yogic breathing, diaphragm, you have to breathe from the diaphragm. And she was actually demonstrating that to people, which, Julie, you do all the time. So those two things. All right, Sajid, I'll let you give your 3-minute speech, and then we'll get to the first segment. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jay. Julie, one thing I would like to say is that you have selected the best topic for the persuasive speech. I've asked the metrics that you put in the version 1 or 2. There are a lot of people who joins the course, but they're not able to complete the course. They drop out in between. even I have dropped out from several courses in between, and yeah, this would be one of the best topics, and if you could persuade some of the people to complete the course, that would be really great. You have selected the best topic that I can think of. Okay, and Jay, I could really relate with you about the pant thing. No, even I have done the same thing in the past. I have bought pants one size less, thinking that in the next 3 months I would reduce my waist by like one inch or two, and then I would be able to wear it. I could really relate to you that on that. And regarding the speech that 3-minute speech that I'm going to do today, out of the 3 speeches that the course discusses, the one thing that I fear most is the impromptu speech, the speech in which you're not aware of what you're going to talk about. So this is one speech now I'm really scared about, probably because of the worry of finding the right thing. Am I going to talk about the topic well? Am I going to am I going to appear foolish in front of others? That's the worry that I have whenever I get a chance to talk impromptu. So I really I'm a bit hesitant whenever I get a chance to speak impromptu. Other 2 speeches, the persuasive and another speech, I'm quite okay, because now you get the time to prepare. You get the time to prepare and practice. You can actually do it. At least in my case, I don't find it very difficult in both other speeches. But in the impromptu speech, I'm really worried because of the factors that I mentioned above. So I am trying to give an impromptu speech here, and I thought, why not talk about the impromptu speech itself and how do we prepare for the impromptu speech. So just before coming for this meeting, I just looked at the internet to figure out how can you give a good impromptu speech. Whenever somebody gives a topic for you to give impromptu speech, whether it's a meeting or in an office circumstance, the first thing you should do is actually to take a deep breath and be aware that be sensitized to the fact that you are going to give a speech about the topic. Think about the topic and take some time. Try to take some time. Even if you have to give an impromptu speech very immediately, you should be able to buy some time. Just thinking about it. Sit in the chair and write down the topic and take some time basically. And the other thing that you can do is think about the 2 important points that that you would like to highlight in your speech. If not, if you cannot think about any good topics, at least think about how do you start the speech and how do you end the speech. So what the person what really matters is what captures the attention of your audience is basically how you start. Do you appear confident? And if you as the saying goes, no, the well begun is half done. So if you're really able to start the speech well, and if you're able to end the speech really well, that really captures the mind of the audience. That the people go back with that actually. So that's one aspect you should look at when you're giving an impromptu speech. And if you're really not confident, or if you don't have really a lot of points to discuss during the speech, the other thing that we can do is actually make the speech interactive. When you have an audience in front of you, ask some questions to the audience related to the topic, and there would be some people who would throw back some ideas, or give you some clues about how to what's the topic, or what's the points that you can talk about next, which actually give you some direction about giving the speech. Yeah, and as this is going to be an impromptu speech, you really don't have to worry, because the people don't expect you to be an expert. So that's one aspect. So really, even if you're worried, you really, in fact, in reality, you don't really have to worry about that. So these are some of the things that I understood. I could actually read through and about impromptu speech. How do we give a good impromptu speech? I would like to improve this particular aspect a lot. So that's about it. And thank you.
Yeah, that was good. So let me make a couple of comments on what you just said. So I have I think impromptu is a very tricky speech, and I can see why you're scared. And first of all, here's my you should never speak impromptu if you don't know what you're speaking about, because you're going to say something totally stupid, and it's better not to say something stupid than to say anything. So so that's one thing. If you don't know, somebody asks you a question you don't know, don't say it. Otherwise, you're going to probably say the wrong thing. Don't make up an answer that you just don't have. So a lot of times an impromptu is all about how much you have really prepared. Know anything. The other one is you know too much. Both of them are just as bad. Because sometimes when people know too much, that impromptu becomes more of a lecture, which is also really bad. So you do need to know how to know the structure. And I think in the course, he has that 2-point impromptu. I think that's an overkill in my opinion, because people only remember one thing. So, like, I'll give you an example. One time I had to give an impromptu. I guess at that time I didn't even think of it as an impromptu. I had attended a relative's wedding anniversary, and since I'm the oldest, they said, "Can you say some things about their 35th? I think it was the 35th anniversary." And I had no idea what to say, so I said, "Okay, I'll just key in on one word," and I came up with the word passion. And once I came up with that word passion, I could come up with all the different things that they do. They had passion for dancing, they had passion for travel, they had passion for life. And then my speech really flowed, and I had not prepared. So I still had to prepare. I only had like about half an hour before I gave the speech. And I just asked people, like, what are some of the things that they're passionate about? And I was able to give that speech, but I just keyed in on just one thing, not like 2 points. I think in the course they talk about 2 points, which is fine, but in real life, 2 points may be too, because sometimes I listen to these impromptu and they go on too long, and I have no idea what the main point was. So, and the other thing I'll say, what you just mentioned, Sajid, is preparation is very important for impromptu. You can only be a good impromptu speaker if you're already prepared for it. Otherwise, you can't. Like, if you notice these debates we're having in the United States, these presidential debates, those are impromptu, but they're prepared, okay? So this idea about, like, oh, you have to speak off the cuff, bad idea. Never want to speak off. You want to sound like you're speaking off the cuff, but unless you know what you're talking about, you're not going to come across too well. You're going to make mistakes. That's where gaffes happen. And the last thing I'll point out is if somebody asks you a question, don't be too hurried to answer it. Get some clarification, because sometimes the question is not asked well, and we tend to always think like, oh, let me answer it quickly. It's like you're not racing to answer a question. There are no points given for how quickly you can answer the question. Take your time, take a deep breath, and just say, before I answer it, can you just clarify exactly what the question is? And there's nothing wrong with that. Buy some time. So these are some of the techniques that you can use. So you don't want to be scared of impromptu. In fact, if you're prepared, you should even ask for, like, a perfect example is when they have the spelling bee. They always keep asking questions like, can you give me the word derivation, all this. Anyway, I'm taking up too much time. Julie, do you have any thoughts on this before we move on to our first segment?
Yes, Sajid, thank you. Yeah, I got something out of that, and what you said was, take a deep breath and use the word sensitize, and I use the word connect, but like just take a breath and like settle into the topic. I thought that was really nice. And then if you can ask questions, and I always do that when I was at corporate meetings. I always buy myself a little bit of time. So at one point I said, I've got 3 points. And then I ended up only 2 points. So now I've learned to say, well, I think your question is, and I've got a couple of points. And so that's a little bit less precise. So thank you.
Sajid, any thoughts before we move on to our first segment?
Yeah, thank you for the inputs, Jay and Julie. So that's really insightful. Yeah. So I think we can go ahead to the next topic, Jay. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to take a brief pause, and then you may want to mute your lines. Okay. Sajid, you want to mute your mic?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to take a brief pause and then I'll introduce the first segment. Welcome to Speech Talk Live, episode number 24. My name is Jay Oza, and our first segment we're going to talk about how to become comfortable in speaking in front of a camera, the way I am right now. Now, let's face it, this is something we all going to have to become comfortable because cameras are everywhere. They're on phones and they're getting better and better. And people are watching lots and lots of videos. Videos are very important in conveying your message. I mean, look at what we're doing right now. We're basically having a video conferencing call, or in this case, we're calling this a show, Speech Talk Live. We have Julie in Connecticut, and we have Sajid in India. This is the reality, folks. You have to become comfortable at it. Otherwise, you will not get a chance to connect with people all around the world. So if you're watching this and you're not doing it, you're only hurting yourself. That's just my opinion, and we'll find out what Julie and Sajid have to say. Because you will not be able to talk to people around the world, whether it's in China, India, UK, France, you name it. This is the modern way of communicating. But it's even more than just communicating. It's a way for you to get your message out to other people. And I'll say another thing. Today, you are what your social media trail says you are. You know, somebody once said, you are what Google says you are. And if you have thoughts, whether it's like I tend to record videos on speaking and this show gets recorded, people will go and see me on YouTube. They'll be able to make some impression of me. They may like me, they may not like me, okay, that's fine. But I want to know the people that will like me and want to know more and they want to connect with me. But one thing is certain, they're going to be able to trust me because once you record, once you have a social media trail like videos, people know who you are. It's very hard to fool people after a while. People can see you and they can immediately make decision, that impression of you very quickly. And if they like you, they'll keep on watching the video. So, but you have to get comfortable in speaking in front of camera. Now, in this video that I recorded, I've gave 5 tips. One of them is pretend like there is somebody in the room. Put an empty chair, put a stuffed animal or whatever. That's one. The second one is just have a conversation. Ask questions like, do you find videos difficult? Like those type of questions. How do you overcome it? Like have a conversation like you would if that camera was actually a person. And the other thing that is kind of important, which I didn't really realize it, that with camera, you can't be looking away. It's very difficult, right? Because like right now, I'm staring right into the camera. And if you're not looking into the camera, which you don't when you're speaking with somebody, your head, you can move around. And the person is not going to be offended because you're still right in front of him. But with camera, it's not possible. I'd like to get your thoughts on that to see what you think of that. The fourth is, of course, acting. I mean, when you're speaking in front of camera, you are acting. Because you're pretending like you're speaking to somebody. That's acting. That's what acting is all about. And the fifth is you have to be prepared. Don't get in front of a camera if you don't know what the hell you're saying, because people are going to make impression of you. And if you don't like it, just erase it and re-record it again. So it's not a big deal. The only way to overcome this is by doing it. And I know that's a common thing everybody keeps telling you, but record a 10-second video. Record a 20-second video. And believe me, after a while, you'll start thinking like, wow, and don't be too critical. Oh yeah, that's the last thing. Don't be too critical, because one of the things that really hurts us in doing well, and anybody can do this, this is not a big deal anymore. Don't be critical. Put something out there, because if people are going to criticize, that's good. No criticism is the worst thing, because if you're getting criticized, it means somebody actually watched it. And I actually love criticism, because you know what? That means they at least took the time to watch you. If nobody's watching you, then it's like you don't exist, okay? So anyway, not that hard, but so I think if you have, try to get comfortable, keep doing it. See if any of these tips help. And this is one of the things we all going to have to get comfortable in learning how to get comfortable in speaking in front of camera, because if you're not, then you're basically hurting yourself in getting your message across and how you come across as a person, as a thought leader, as a person who can influence, persuade, or even sell something. All right, Julie, do you want to? What are your thoughts on this? What are some of the tips you use to get comfortable?
Oh, thanks, Jay. Yeah, I have been doing the practice that you suggested, which is, and I stopped this week, so now this is going to help me to continue, is I try to record myself for 3 minutes every day, which in the beginning was really awkward because, turn on the phone, but now I'm beginning to be a little bit more fluid. I think your video was very helpful for the students who like me. As you know, I speak pretty fluently and pretty comfortable in front of a camera with real people. But put me in front of a blank camera and I roboticize. I like to say that I numb up and dumb down. So this has been a really good challenge, and I have tried all of these things, and they do all help, except for the chair one. I did not put a chair there, so I tried that. And I appreciate you saying not to be critical. In terms of, I know that this is your first shot, but in the interest of fellow students getting some feedback, I thought the message was very helpful. Of course, as you know, you don't need to split it into 2 videos, because the last one was only 5 minutes long, and 2 minutes of that was used for almost 6 minutes long, but 2 minutes of that was to recap the first 4 points. In terms of being helpful, I would like to maybe see some real life, like we always do, some real people examples, and then perhaps even some role-playing description of how each of them changed them from before and after. But the ideas are really great, and I think they are very helpful ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, those are good comments. Excellent feedback, Julie. The only thing is, yeah, I was thinking about what you just said. The thing is, you don't want to make it too long. So you're fighting time, and then if it's too long, people were like, just give us the facts. So you kind of, if I have to do it and make it into a course, I would certainly do that. And in fact, one of the things that I have done is, one of the things that people always ask me is that, how do I start? Because one of the things that nobody ever talks about is, how do you start when you have to build a speech? Where do you start from? So I actually recorded a video, which I didn't include in this particular show, where, I think I have shown this, right? I keep this with me. This is my tool, by the way. This is an Olympus audio recorder. I don't think I could even do a good job without this. This is what I use all the time in the car, and whenever I have something that I've come across, I'm thinking about, I'll immediately turn it on and I'll record it. So that's pretty raw, right? And I was showing people that this is how I do it. That if I read a book or if I watched something just came to my mind, I'll immediately get my thoughts onto the audio recorder. I don't like to write it down in a diary because sometimes it's not that convenient. But this is my #1 tool. Without this, and then from audio I turn it into video, right? So this is my process that kind of helps me in developing a speech, and that's how it works. It's an iterative process. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but if I had more time, I would certainly go through each one of them and how that would work. So, Sajid, any thoughts on it? What do you do to get comfortable as you're becoming more comfortable speaking in front